Ohai. Turkmenistan, the official name Turkmenistan. The state in Central Asia. Borders on Afghanistan and Iran in the south, on Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan in the north. It is washed by the closed Caspian Sea in the west, has no exit to the world ocean. Independence of the country was declared on October 27, 1991. Is a member of the Union with March 2, 1992 and the neutral state. Secular state, presidential republic. The President of Turkmenistan, Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov. Since February 14, 2007, before from December 21, 2006 to February 14, 2007 I fulfilled duties of the President of Turkmenistan. One is subdivided into 6 administrative and territorial units, 5 of which are vilayats, the city with the rights of the vilayat. The state capital, the city of Ashgabat, which is the largest in the country. The most part of believers practices Islam. Turkmenistan, the 4th country in the world on reserves of natural gas. In particular, owns the world's 2nd largest gas Galkanish field. The name of the state exists since 1924 when during national and territorial delimitation from the Turkmen area Turkestan, the Asar and small parts of the territories which were the Bukharanins. Turkmen, the autonomous area. And the Khorizmines. Turkmen, the joint stock company. Created the Turkmen Sur. In 1991 the country declared independence and in the constitution adopted in 1992 established the name Turkmenistan. The toponym is formed by an ethnonym combination, Turkmens, and the Aranoyasichny form a camp, country. The ethnonym Turkmens, formed from more general ethnonym, Turkic peoples, is known since the 10th century for a designation of the people which extended in the 8th, 10th centuries from the Talas River to the Caspian Sea. The Oghuz ethnonym, which etymology is very disputable, was used earlier. Kievan Rus is mentioned as a Turkmena, in the Russian chronicles of the 13th century, Tormena, and in Imperial Russia, as Turkoman and Trukmena. The Turkmen Earth is mentioned in notes of the Russian traveler of the 15th century Afanasy Nikitin. According to the constitution, Turkmenistan the secular state. The form of government, the presidential republic. The head of state, the president. Saparmurat Niyazov proclaimed the Turkmenbashi. The head of all the Turkmen. Was the lifelong president of Turkmenistan till December 21, 2006. Now the president is Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov. Legislature, Majlis. Parliament, 125 dicks. Deputies are elected for 5 years in single-candidate districts. Competence of Majlis, adoption of laws, acceptance and change of the constitution. Till 2013 in Majlis only one legal political party in this country, the Democratic Party of Turkmenistan, was represented. The Parliament of Turkmenistan adopted on January 10, 2013 the new law about political parties. The law defines legal bases of creation of political parties, the rights, duties, guarantees of activity of parties, and also regulates relationship of political parties with public institutions and other organizations. On August 21, 2012 in the country the second party, Party of Industrialists and Businessmen, was created. Before in the country there was a one-party system. In December 2013, after the parliamentary elections, the parliament included two political parties and also the organizations and independent deputies. All deputies completely support the government headed by the president. In 2014 in the country the third party, Agrarian Party of Turkmenistan appeared. From 1992 to 2008 in the constitution one more legislature, the appointed and elected Halk Maslakata. National Council, Inad Parliament, 2507 Dix. Was specified. It consisted of the President, deputies of Majlis elected for 5 years of national representatives, representatives of judicial authority, ministers, heads of regional administrations. Areas, Veliots and areas, Etraps. Representatives of public organizations, elders. Halk Maslakata discussed issues of nationwide policy. Introduction of amendments to the constitution, elections and referenda, the approval of programs of development of the country and so on. Sessions were held at least once a year. Saparmurat Niyazov was the lifelong chairman of Halk Maslakata till 2007. Then Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov was elected the chairman. According to the changed constitution, National Council stopped the existence, his powers were delegated to Majlis and the president. Halk Maslakata he was again educated according to the constitutional law of Turkmenistan of October 9, 2017 No. 617 v. about entering of addition into the constitution of Turkmenistan. The first meeting took place on September 26, 2018. As of February 2013, Turkmenistan established diplomatic relations with 131 states of the world. Abroad 29 diplomatic missions and consulates of Turkmenistan work. In Turkmenistan diplomatic missions of 30 foreign states and also representative offices of 15 international organizations work. As of October 20, 2018, the country maintained diplomatic relations with 146 member states of EU. The main partner countries are Belarus, Iran, Kazakhstan, Russia, Turkey, China. Turkmenistan participates in many world and regional international organizations. Union, OSCE, Non-Aligned Movement, OS, OIC, WHO, MOM, IAF, SEC. The number of the foreign diplomatic missions accredited in Turkmenistan -79, from them only 31 representations have embassies in Ashgabat. Several foreign states opened consular establishments in other cities of the country. Embassies of Turkmenistan are available in 30 countries. In some states there are only diplomatic missions of Turkmenistan accredited in combination. In Moldova and Syria, embassies of Turkmenistan were closed because of inexpediency of their work. In the free 2 millennia BB in the territory of modern Turkmenistan, east part, there was a Marjansky civilization. In the 6-4 centuries BB the territory was under the power of the Persian Tsars from a dynasty Achaemenidov, then Alexander of Macedon. From 3rd century BB, Turkmenistan was as a part of Parthia. The capital, Nis. Later in the state of Sassanidaf. In the 5-8 centuries the territory is won by Aftalita, Proto-Turkic peoples, Arabs. In 776-783 years the population participated in the anti-Arab revolt under the direction of Hashim ibn Hakim. Mykonos. Pyramid. In the 9th-10th centuries in the states of Tekirdağ, Samanadav. By the 11th century the territory of Turkmenistan is won by Oghuz which, mixing up with local depopulation, in many respects also Turkic origin, create the Turkmen ethnos. In the 11th-13th centuries the first Turkmen state of the Seljuks with the capital in Merv is created. By the beginning of the 13th century the territory of Turkmenistan appeared as a part of the state of Horemshafav which coped the Turkmen dynasty Anishtaginadav. In the first quarter of the 13th century it was won by Mongols and later it appeared as a part of the state of Ilchinab, then in the state of Timurdav. Since the 16th, 17th centuries in the Kievan and Bukhara Khanates. In 1869-1885 the territory of modern Turkmenistan is attached to the Russian Empire. Zalkaspasky region. In November-December 1917 the Soviet power is established. The main part of the territory of Turkmenistan as the Turkmen area was on August 7, 1921 a part Turkestan the Asar. On October 27, 1924 on national territorially delimitation of the Soviet republics of Central Asia it is transformed to the Turkmen Siski. On October 6, 1948 in Ashgabat there was the strongest earthquake which claimed the lives from 60 to 100,000 people. In October 1990 the Supreme Council of the Turkmen founded a post of the President of the Republic. On October 26, 1991 there took place the referendum on independence of Turkmenistan. The question whether you agree with legislative establishment of Turkmenistan as independent democratic state was positively answered by 94% of citizens of the Turkmen. Next day the Supreme Council of the Republic adopted the constitutional law about independence and bases of state system of Turkmenistan. Turkmenistan became independent. On December 12, 1995 Turkmenistan proclaimed a constant neutrality. The resolution of the United Nations General Assembly No. 50/80 in which it is hoped that the status of a constant neutrality of Turkmenistan will promote peace and security consolidation in the region, was adopted. In this resolution of the Union, recognizes and maintains the status of a constant neutrality proclaimed Turkmenistan. This similar unique document is accepted for the first time in activity of all international community of the nations. Support of a neutrality from the Union, an unusual occurrence in more than semi-centennial history of this international organization. The resolution of the Union General Assembly urges to respect and support a neutrality of Turkmenistan. 185 member states of the international community voted for its acceptance at the Georgia session. On December 28, 1999 Halk Maslakata declared Saparmurat Niyazov the termless president having the right to be re-elected unlimited number of times. In February 2001, in day of the 61st anniversary, Niyazov designated approximate date of the departure from the job of the president -2010. In August 2002 Halk Maslakata renamed into his honor months of year and days of the week. New division of life cycle of the person into age became one more innovation. In November 2002 in the country there was an attempt of a coup. According to the official version, the revolution was organized by the former higher-ranking government officials, including the former chairman of the parliament, heads of the EMA power ministries, several governors, in community with group of foreign citizens. At the same time, unsuccessful attempt to assassinate life of the president of the country Saparmurat Niyazov was organized. The most part of conspirators was arrested and, according to the judgment, is sentenced to various terms of imprisonment. Boris Shikmuradov voluntarily returned to Turkmenistan and gave up to the authorities. Its The Grateful Speech was broadcast on national television and subsequently was shown on many Russian and world channels. His speech abounded with the elements not peculiar to usual informal conversation of people, for example, "We, criminal group. In us there is nothing human. Rutnam, a singular, significant element from Niyazov's era, the book written by the president of the country. She was put in Turkmenistan flush with the Quran. Regarding acquaintance to her, forced to take examinations in higher education institutions, studied her as the main subject. In this book the main message consisted that according to Saparmurat Niyazov, Turkmens, the great nation which is unfairly belittled by the Soviet Union and the Russian Tsarism. 8. Probably I was Turkmen. The vehicle, was thought up by Turkmens. Words like "oh, my black-eyed" were designed to cultivate feeling of patriotism in the Turkmen youth. All school students were obliged to read daily before the occupations a fidelity oath. In her there were words. Yes, my hand will wither. Yes, my language will be taken away. In an hour of high treason, to Saparmurat Turkmenbashi great. Yes, my breath will be interrupted. The state Russian Pushkin Drama Theatre was demolished. At once after that the theatre began the work in other building. The Academic Opera and Ballet Theatre of Mektumkuli was demolished. Also the monument of Altatürk Karliev, the founder of the Turkmen cinema, was demolished, and Turkmen film of Karliev was renamed in Avogus Khan, in honor of the primogenitor the Turkmen. In 2003-2005 in Turkmenistan there took place the campaign for the translation of Russian-speaking inhabitants of the Republic, mainly Slavs, in the Turkmen citizenship. Fears of the authorities that at possible aggravation of an internal political situation in Turkmenistan, Russia will take measures in protection of the citizens who are constantly living in the Republic became an occasion. The persons who weren't wishing to refuse the Russian citizenship deprived of the Turkmen citizenship and moved from their apartments. Then tens of thousands of Slavs were forced to move urgently to Russia. In 2003 all heads of security agencies, including the State Office of Public Prosecutor, were dismissed. In 2005 within the anti-corruption campaign initiated by the president of the country, a number of the high-ranking officials who according to the judgment were sentenced to various terms of imprisonment were deprived of the posts. On October 24, 2005 Halt Maslakata full structure. 2506 people. I rejected Niyazov's bill of holding presidential elections in 2009. After that Niyazov suggested to consider that adoption of law is simply postponed until December 2009. On April 10, 2006 Saparmurat Niyazov for numerous violations sent to pension of the Attorney General of Turkmenistan to Kurbanbibi Atadzanov. The post was held by her former first deputy of Mukhmatullah Ogshukov. Atadzanova held a post of 11 years. For this period she became a master of authorized representatives, such as Elikaban Muradov, Recep Saparev and many others, offended Niyazov by treason. On December 21, 2006, Saparmurat Niyazov died from cardiac arrest. Before the following elections by the acting president, the deputy prime minister of the Republic Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov is appointed. On elections on February 11, 2007, having received 89.23% of votes, Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov won. On February 15, the president signed the decree on reforming of an education system according to which Devyetiletka was cancelled and 10-year secondary education, and in higher education institutions -5–6-year-old was entered. On February 16 in Ashgabat the first 2 internet cafes opened. As of February 2019 in the country 9 cafes with internet connection are opened. Also Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov said in an interview that it is planned to enter the internet and at schools. On February 20, the President signed the decree about creation of State Commission on consideration of addresses of citizens concerning activity of law enforcement agencies at the President of Turkmenistan that gave the chance of revision of a number of affairs on which hundreds of people were sentenced to many years of prison as a result of unauthorized actions of citizens. On February 22, the President of Turkmenistan Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov withdrew from a fidelity oath to the homeland. Niyazov, who is thought up during board of the poetic annex to the national anthem, a mention of the great Turkmenbaji. Since February 28, local newspapers replaced on the front pages Saparmurat Niyazov's portrait with the photo of the new president Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov. Earlier the portrait was followed by the quote from the book by Niyazov, Ruknam. Now on the Berdimuhamedov's photo the fragment of his inaugural speech began to be published. Photos of the former president of Turkmenistan Niyazov began to appear on pages of newspapers more and more seldom. The tax law was changed. Healthcare institutions ceased to pay the property tax, and medical services, drugs and the techniques to be assessed with ends. On March 15, Berdimuhamedov signed the decree according to which the name of the first president and the father of all the Turkmen, Saparmurat Niyazov, will be removed from a presidential standard. Instead, the banner will decorate an inscription: President of Turkmenistan. Also, the president cancelled a daily oath of fidelity to the Republic in its chapter. On March 17, the President, presenting 2 members of the government of the new Deputy Prime Minister Haydar Saparlov, said that in Turkmenistan the Academy of Sciences and also rural polyclinics and military departments and higher education institutions will be revived. Saparmurat Niyazov liquidated the scientific institutes working in the fundamental and applied directions. On January 1, 2008 in Turkmenistan the exchange offices of currency closed by Niyazov in 1998 opened. There began work the interbank currency exchange. In 2007-2008 Turkmenistan returned to names of months according to the Julian calendar, calculation of days on a Gregorian calendar, and to names of days of the week on solar hijra. Avenues are back renamed, the gold statue of the Turkmenbashi rotating after the sun is removed. It was made for fight against a cult of personality of Niyazov. In January 2009, from names of the Turkmen newspapers and magazines, names of Niyazov and his relatives disappeared. On July 7, 2011, in the city of Abadan, there was a series of explosions in a warehouse of ammunition. Official Massachusetts media of Turkmenistan reported that the pyrotechnics warehouse blew up. According to messages of independent media, the death toll as a result of explosions in the city of Abadan was 200 people. On February 12, 2012, there took place the election of the President of Turkmenistan. Summing up elections took place at a meeting of Central Election Commission on February 15. According to Article 51 of Law about the election of the President of Turkmenistan, the candidate Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov collected absolute majority of votes, 97.14%. and was recognized as the elected President of Turkmenistan. On January 3, 2013, the law on media forbidding censorship came into force. It became the law on Massachusetts media, the first since 1991. At the end of January 2013, Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov took the initiative about accession to UTO. On February 12, 2017, the regular presidential elections took place. According to Article 76 of the Electoral Code of Turkmenistan, the Central Electoral Commission declared that the candidate Gurbanguly Malik Berdimuhamedov, who collected absolute majority of votes, 97.69%, was recognized as the elected President of Turkmenistan. The climate is sharply continental, droughty. Average temperature of January 4°C. In the valley of the Atrik River, B plus 4°C. July plus 28°C. Subsoil of Turkmenistan contains valuable minerals. Oil and natural gas, sulfur, lead, mirabilit, iodine, bromine. In the country there are also various raw materials for the finishing industry. Limestone, marl, dolomite, granite, plaster, refractory clay, quartz sand, gravel, galechnik. Such branches of the national economy as oil extracting and fishing industry are closely connected with natural resources of the Caspian Sea. Reserves of Turkmenistan, the territories with the status of research management created for the purpose of preservation in original state of characteristic and rare natural complexes, studying of natural processes and events. The largest reserves: Repetexki, Kopetexki, Amudarya and others. The territory of the country is divided into one city with the rights of the Veliat and 5 Veliats. Areas. Symbols of Turkmenistan as sovereign state are his national flag, the state emblem and the national anthem. The description of the state symbols and an order of their use are defined by the law. National flag. On February 19, 1992, the modern flag of Turkmenistan was approved. On December 26, 1994, the President of Turkmenistan Saparmurat Niyazov signed the decree about a holiday of national flag of Turkmenistan. In view of execution of a centuries-old dream of the Turkmen people of the independent state, respect, love of the people to national flag, and also for the purpose of consolidation of sanctity of national flag in consciousness of people, his transformations into national pride, education at the younger generation of sense of patriotism, I decide. Annually 19 Badak. February. to celebrate a holiday of national flag of Turkmenistan and to declare this day non-working. The flag represents a green panel with vertically located red strip and 5 ornaments at the flag basis. From below this strip, olive branches are represented. Near a strip at the upper edge of a flag, a white half moon and 5 white stars. 5 stars and ornaments of the Turkmen carpet mean 5 veliahts of the country. Olive branches symbolize the neutrality of Turkmenistan proclaimed in 1995. The anthem of Turkmenistan is called the National Anthem of Independent, Neutral Turkmenistan. The melody of the anthem is written by the Turkmen composer Veli Mukatov in 1997. Till 1997 in Turkmenistan, the anthem of the Turkmen Sur in the version without words as the official anthem was executed. The anthem, popular on the first phrase of a refrain, great creation of the Turkmenbashi, worked from 1997 to 2008. Since 2008, the new version of the anthem, which isn't containing elements of a cult of personality of Saparmurat Niyazov, works. The state emblem of Turkmenistan represents an 8-pointed star of green color with a yellow golden border in which 2 circles of blue and red colors are entered. Circles are divided among themselves by yellow golden strips of identical width. On a green background of an 8-pointed star around a red circle, basic elements of a national wealth and symbolics of the state are represented. Cotton, wheat. On a ring strip of a red circle of 2 diameters in size of a blue circle, 5 main carpet gels are represented clockwise. Flow Hasara, unit which symbolize friendship and unity of the Turkmen people. In a blue circle, Yanodog, an Haltakin horse of the first president of Turkmenistan, Saparmurat Turkmenbashi, the representative of a classical example of a Haltakin breed, is represented. In Turkmenistan, limited privatization, generally in services sector, is carried out. The industry, agriculture, power, transport and communication generally make public sector. As a result, many public services remain free and depend on subsidies. In 2008, the number of labor was 2.3 million people. In agriculture, 48% working were engaged in the industry -14%, in services industry -38%. Having large reserves of natural gas, 15-20 trillion m. And oil, 1.52 billion t. Turkmenistan is the world's 4th exporter of fuel resources. However, problems of transportation and investigation complicate development of this sector of economy, forming about 70% of gross national product. Cleaning and oil refining and natural gas belong to primary branches of the industry. Production of glass, fabrics, generally cotton, and clothes. Food industry. Development of the industry slows down because of reduction of sales markets in the CIS countries and strong jumps of the world prices for raw materials. For supply of energy resources, different types of transport are used. The Central Asia Center gas pipeline, constructed in Soviet period under the status of All-Union Komsomol Shock building and put into operation in 1967, is basic of which. The contract on construction of the Trans-Caspian gas pipeline was signed. In various stages of development, there are projects of construction of gas pipelines to Afghanistan, China, India and other Asian countries. For transportation of gas to Europe bypassing the territory of Russia, the Nabucco main gas pipeline was designed, but then the Western countries refused this idea. In the period of independence, the structure of sown areas was reversed. In 1990-2013, wheat crops increased from 60,000 hectares, 4.4% of the irrigated lands, to 860,000 hectares, 46.7% of the irrigated lands, became the main culture instead of a cotton. Profitability of wheat is much lower than at a cotton or at grapes, but as a result of allocation of essential subsidies from the authorities by 2010, the country could pass to export of wheat. Export in 2017 made $7.1 billion. The main place in export is taken by natural gas, 83%, oil, 1.7%, and oil products, 5.6%. Goods of cotton group: textiles, carpets and carpet products. Main buyers: China -83%, Turkey -5.6%, Italy -1.8%. The industrial output: machines and the equipment, including for the gas industry. Food, chemical medicines, drugs, products of ferrous metallurgy is imported. In 2017, volumes of import were estimated at $3.35 billion. Main suppliers: Turkey -30%, Germany -12%, China -11%, Russia -10%. Since January 1, 2020, the minimum wage in Turkmenistan makes 870 manats, $248.57 a month. Since January 1, 2020, basic size for determination of the minimum amount of pensions is 338 manats, $96.57. And basic size for calculation of welfare payments is 322 manats, $92. Since January 1, 2020, the minimum amount of pensions of participants of the Great Patriotic War is 1415 manats, $404.29 a month, and the minimum amount of pensions of home front workers is 415 manats, $118.57 a month. Manat, official monetary unit of Turkmenistan, equal 100 tenges. The code of currency according to ISO 4217 CT meet. The manat is in circulation since November 1, 1993. The Turkmenistan manat was exposed to denomination in 2009. The design of all modern banknotes is developed by the English company Thomas D. LaRue. Condition of Internet freedom in Turkmenistan, one of the worst in the world. The country takes the 177th place from 180 by the Index of Freedom of the Press. During Saparmurat Niyazov's government, the Internet was informally banned. The first Internet service provider in Ashgabat was created by the Turkmen company, Turkmen Telecom. After election as Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov's president, the Internet began to develop. However, the government forbids access to such known websites as YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LiveJournal, and limits access to social networks. At the beginning of February 2012, many anonymizers by means of which it was possible to visit the blocked sites were blocked. Opera Mini for cell phones is also blocked. The number of internet users in Turkmenistan for 2012 made 5% of the population. In Turkmenistan, 2 mobile network operators worked. The enterprise of the cellular communication, Tsel, and Mint Turkmenistan. However, communication services of the second were suspended on demand. Turkmen Telecom. In 2014, start of the first national space satellite, which was made by the French company Thales Alenia Space, was planned. Initially, start was planned from the Sichuan spaceport in the southwest of China. As a result, the Turkmen 52E satellite was launched by the carrier rocket Falcon 9 of the SpaceX company from Cape Canaveral at 23:03 UTC on April 27, 2015. Tourism in the country promptly develops in recent years when especially intensively medical. First of all, it is connected with creation of the tourist area of Avaz on the coast of the Caspian Sea. Each tourist has to receive the visa before entry into Turkmenistan. To receive a tourist visa, citizens of most states need visa support of local travel agency. For the tourists visiting Turkmenistan, excursion tours with visit of historical sites of Tashkent, Kunurgench, Ashgabat, Nisa, Merv, Mara, beach tours on Avaza and medical rounds and rest in Molokar, Ilasuv, Archman are organized. In the Index of Perception of Corruption, Transparency International, in 2018 published on January 29, 2019, Turkmenistan took the 161st place among 180 countries, having gained only 20 points from 100. The more points, the corruption level is lower. It is the lowest point among countries of Eastern Europe and Central Asia. Complaints to high corruption in Turkmenistan arrive from many foreign investors who cooperated with the country on different projects. Problems with payment of work arose, for example, at contractors of the Turkmen state companies Turkmengaleri, Turkmenift, Turkmengaz, and Turkmenjinjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjenjennjenjenngengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengengen arbitration the legal claims to Turkmenistan connected with violation of this country of obligations under contracts including in the construction sphere. In October 2018, a claim to Turkmenistan to the International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes (Mitsuis) was submitted by the German company Union-Metexindustrienlagen GmbH, which in arbitration was represented by two law firms, Gleislutz and Schultz and Braun. Business is registered on October 12, 2018 at number ARB/18/35. According to Managing Affairs on Insolvency and Bankruptcy of the company, the claim is guided by the German-Turkmen Agreement on Investments of 1997. Total amount of claims is not less than €32 million +%. It took cognizance of the claim of the administrator of the procedure of bankruptcy of Union-Metexindustrienlagen GmbH Mainz, Turkmenistan. In 2008, Union-Metex signed the contract with the state organization Turkmengaleri Kala, earlier Association on Bakery Products, on construction of 5 flour grinding plants and 2 shopping centers with turnkey bakeries. Within a year, one more contract for construction of the 3rd shopping center was signed. Total amount of contracts was Euro 144 million. The company planned to complete the construction in 2011. After the first freezing of construction works in 2010, Gala agreed to payment to the German contractor of compensation of additional expenses of Euro 14 million, but further consent business didn't go. After unsuccessful negotiations at the level of the highest political circles, Gala I submitted a claim against Unionmatex to the Turkmen court in August 2012 for the purpose of cancellation of the existing contracts. The court sided with the claimant and transferred projects to the Turkish builder. Unionmatex also declared pressure from the government of Turkmenistan. The claim which the company submitted in turn in the Turkmen court on Gala in October 2012 because of non-payment of compensation and with the requirement to give the companies the construction equipment confiscated by her Turkmen side was postponed for several years. This situation resulted the company in bankruptcy in 2014. She stopped work in Turkmenistan and in 2014 submitted the application about elimination, in which the refusal of Turkmengaleri to pay her construction works from 2008 to 2014 became the reason of bankruptcy. In the application it was also specified about constant intervention of the customer in construction process, customs obstacles and a delay in registration of working visas. Besides, on building sites there were no gas, water and electricity, for providing with which Gala was responsible. After unsuccessful attempts to solve a dispute extrajudicially, the representative of the Schultz and Braun company, Dr. Dirk Herzig, representing the interests of Unionmatex, submitted to Turkmenistan a legal claim to the international arbitration. Belgerkeimprum in January 2019 I submitted a claim to Arbitration Institute of Chamber of Commerce of Stockholm. The Belarusian company demanded to collect from state concern of Turkmenistan of Turkmenkimi a debt of more than $150 million for works which she conducted on turnkey construction of Gerlitski mining and processing works. Belgerkeimprum began construction of Gerlitski Gok in June 2009. Project cost at the time was $1 billion. The planned power of plant, on the project, had to be 1.4 million tons of fertilizers a year. On March 31, 2017 Turkmenistan accepted plant in operation. At opening there was a president of Turkmenistan Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov and the president of Belarus Alexander Lukashenko. The act of the state inspection was also signed. Right after it, the authorities of Turkmenistan announced plans for construction of the second potash plant. The Belarusian side had to accompany the project and complete his underground infrastructure. On April 22, 2018 Lukashenko said that Belarus invited to construct the second Gok, the tender for which was announced on April 17, 2017. On May 10 the Belarusian side stated that it refuses construction of the second plant as Turkmenistan didn't pay for construction of Gerlitski Gok. Terms of the contract provided operation of plant by the Turkmen side under the supervision of specialists of Jest Belgerkeimprum. However, the Turkmen side refused to pay the performed works and didn't allow the Belarusian experts to technical maintenance of work of plant. On the available information, the Turkmen side tries to organize production by own forces, without having for this necessary practical experience. There are strong reasons to believe that the plant is operated in an inadequate way, it is said in the statement of Belgerkeimprum on the website of the Russian Arbitration Association. Minsk received about $700 million. The unpaid amount for the works performed and recognized by Turkmens made $52 million, about $25 million more hanged without signatures. In an interview, Belarusian news media FTAT. Now the CEO of Belgorgaimprom Vyacheslav Korchin reported that because of non-payments it was impossible to continue works on performance of the rest of maintenance Belgorgaimprom, and since March 16, 2018 the company was forced to suspend implementation of all obligations. We set a condition to repay arrears of $52 million. At the same time we inform partners that are ready to continue performance of services in technical maintenance. However, the customer refused implementation of the obligation for providing specifications on work of plant and didn't allow our experts on an object. The Belarusian side also received obstacles in export from Turkmenistan of the construction equipment of the company, with the total cost more than $7 million. More than 60 units of the equipment belonging to the Belarusian contractor imported under the project in the mode of temporary import. Turkmen Kimya accused Belarus of failure to meet time constraints of construction and submitted a claim to Arbitration Institute at Chamber of Commerce of Stockholm on Belgorgaimprom. The customer requested from the contractor compensation of damage for non-performance of contractual obligations for construction of the Gerlitski Potash mining complex. On July 28, 2018, Minsk submitted to ICSID, International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes, a claim to Turkmenistan for $750 million, having stated that it tried to settle a dispute, the prejudicial negotiations which didn't bring result. The basis for the claim, according to the statement of the company, violation of the rights of Minsk by Turkmenistan as foreign investor. In September 2017, Minsk Turkmenistan ceased to render services to subscribers as Turkmen Telecom didn't provide its service of the international and domestic long-distance zone telecommunication and service of internet access anymore. According to the Turkmen side, the desire of information and psychological pressure upon the opponent and aspiration of management of the company to justify oneself before shareholders in the mistakes made in adoption of strategic decisions was motivation of Minsk in submission of the claim. Minsk stated that it had the right to render communication services till July 26, 2018. The company began work in Turkmenistan in 2005 with acquisition of the local operator, with Barish Communications Technologies Inc. Bektai, for $46.7 million. Under the terms of the first contract with the Turkmen Ministry of Communications existing till 2010, Bektai undertook to transfer 20% of net profit into the budget of the country. Also, the company paid taxes. In 2010, Minsk stopped work in Turkmenistan till 2012, then signed one more contract with the state company, Turkmen Telecom. On a Minsk Turkmenistan undertook to deduct monthly to Turkmen Telecom already 30% of net profit. In September 2017, the company suspended the activity in the country. In July 2018, I submitted a claim for $750 million. In April 2019, the developed claim, having sounded the sum of losses to $1.5 billion. The press service of Minsk explained increase in the sum of the claim with the expertise which is carried out in March 2019. Construction, new and modernization of already existing highways plays an important role in development of the country. Due to the increase in traffic flow, already built roads are adjusted and also construction of new highways is planned. Through development of border transport and strengthening of material and technical resources, the President of Turkmenistan Gurbanali Berdimuhamedov signed the resolution according to which the state concern of Turkmenavtoilera will buy mass motor transport under the contract with an LCR of Trading House, the official representative of the MAS plant. The contract with the Russian firm for construction of an outcome for highways of the city of the Turkmenbashi is also signed. Much attention was always paid to construction of roads and motor transport. So, in 2004, the Minister of the Motor Transport and Highways of Turkmenistan Beymakamakalau for plunder of public funds and shortcomings of work was ousted. As of the beginning of 2015, petrol price in Turkmenistan, 1 manat per liter, was one of the lowest in seas. The largest cities of Turkmenistan are connected with Ashgabat and among themselves air traffic. The most airport terminal is in Ashgabat, from where regular international flights are made. Except Ashgabat, regular international flights are made also from Turkmenbashi. The state organization in the sphere of management and regulation in civil aviation of Turkmenistan is the Public National Service of Turkmenalaret. Great Saparmurat Turkmenbashi. 4 airports of the international level work in the country. The largest airline working at the Turkmen market of air transportation are the Turkmen Airlines, flagman carrier of Turkmenistan. The passenger park of the Turkmen Airlines makes 21 planes of the American company, Boeing. Boeing-717, Boeing-737, Boeing-757, Boeing-737, 700, Boeing-737, 800, long-range airliner, Boeing-777, 200 and an arsenal of pilots of Turkmenistan-3 transport Il-76 planes and also the Mi-171 helicopters, Sikorsky and the Super Puma. The state-owned airline annually transports on internal and international lines 1.819 million passengers. The Turkmen Airlines make regular flights to Moscow, London, Ankara, Frankfurt am Main, Birmingham, Bangkok, Delhi, Abu Dhabi, Amritsar, Beijing, Istanbul, Minsk, Almaty Street, Petersburg, Paris. Since 1962, from Turkmenbashi International Port the ferry to the Azerbaijani port of Baku and to the Astrakhan port Olya, and also an internal passenger route of Turkmenbashi Gizilsev and Turkmenbashi Hazarwaks. In recent years, sharply tanker transportation of oil increased. The main port, the Turkmenbashi. He is connected by railway ferries with ports of the coast of the Caspian Sea. Baku, Akta. In 2013, construction of new port, worth $2 billion, was begun. In 2018, his opening took place. The project provides construction ferry, passenger and cargo terminals in the territory of 1.2 million. It is planned to build shipbuilding plant. Also in Avaz, the country's first yacht club was open. The railroads are one of main types of transport in Turkmenistan. Railway transport in Turkmenistan is used since 1880. Originally it was the part of the Zokospisky Railroad, then Central Asian Railroad, After the collapse of the USSR, the network of the railroads in Turkmenistan belongs and is operated by the Ministry of Railway Transport. Total length of the railroads as of 2012, 3550 km. There are no electrified roads. Passenger traffic of the railroads of Turkmenistan is limited to country frontiers, except for sites across which there passes transit of the trains going from Tajikistan to Uzbekistan and further. In 2006 the Transkarakum Railroad was constructed. In 2014 the railroad Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Iran which connected 3 states was open. Now construction of the railroad Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Tajikistan is conducted.
The railroad of Turkmenistan in 1931 for the first time in the world was a Tepefitzer one of the serial locomotives which were under construction at the Kolomna plant, and in 1938 the diesel depot Ashgabat was constructed.
Since 1955 the railroads of Turkmenistan use exclusively diesel draft. Now the locomotive park consists of the Soviet locomotives of series TL, TU, MU. There are also several locomotives of the Chinese production and the Kazakh production TA. Shunting work is performed by locomotives of TEM, TEMU, CHIM. In Turkmenistan there is a large network of gas pipelines. Now Caspian Gas Pipeline and Central Asia Center Gas Pipelines operate. In 2009 the Turkmenistan, China Gas Pipeline is put in operation. In 2010 Turkmenistan, Iran. Turkmenistan actively participates in advance of construction of the Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India gas pipeline. Copy. Prior to the beginning of the old years the population of Turkmenistan grew very in high gear. On censuses of 1959, actual population of the country made 516 million inhabitants. On a census of 1979, 2.759 million. On a census of 1989, 3.534 million. On a census of 1995, 4.481 million people. Since the end 2006 and for 2017 any official publications about population of the country it wasn't made. Indirectly tell official data on results of presidential elections about the valid population of the country. According to official data, for February 12, 2012 in the country, voters were registered. On elections to Majlis in December 2013, 3.063 million voters were registered. At presidential elections in February 2017 in the country, 3.252 million voters were registered. According to estimates of age structure of the population of the country, the share of inhabitants who didn't reach age of 18 years and weren't included in number of voters makes about 33% of the population, and the total number of residents of the country will be about 4.88 million people. On the middle of 2013 of Bureau of an United States Census estimated population of Turkmenistan of 113 million people, including the population age of 18 years and more made 3.448 million by the same estimates that there are more officially published data on the number of voters. The Department on Economic and Social Problems of the Union in 2008 estimated population of Turkmenistan of 4.936 million, in 2012, 5.268 million, and in 2017, 5.758 million. In February 2015 publications in which it was claimed that from anonymous informal sources results of the census conducted in 2012 became known to them were published in oppositional editions.
According to these publications, the population of the country would have to make 4,751,120 people. On national structure of 85.6% Turkmens, 5.8% Uzbeks, 5.1% Russians. All others are specified as representatives of other nationalities. Representatives of 58 nationalities live in the country.
On elections to Majlis in March 2018 in Turkmenistan, 3,291,312 voters were registered. That reflects population at the age of 18 years and are more senior. However, according to the informal data published in the independent press in 2018, Turkmenistan was left by about 1.9 million people, and by some estimates the actual population of Turkmenistan for the beginning of 2019 could make about 3.3 million people.
In January 2020, official assessment of population of the country over 6.2 million people, but without indication of concrete date to which these data belong, was published.
In 2020-2021 in Turkmenistan, preparation for carrying out in 2022 of another population census and housing stock was carried out. The State Committee of Turkmenistan statistically ran work.
Koskomstat.
The preliminary informal calculations of the actual population as of the middle of 2021 collected in officials of Koskomstat during preparation for a census strongly dispersed from official figures, and about 2.7 to 8 million people gave an assessment that could mean the continuing depopulation of the country. The total coefficient of birth rate made in 2011, 2.14.
The vast majority of the population of Turkmenistan is made by Muslims. Generally Sunni sense. -89–90%. Christians make about 9% of the population, other faiths -2%. All resolved religious faiths are under strict control of public authorities. In 1994, for supervision of them, Cengiz Council for religion, where the Mufti, the deputy Mufti, the orthodox decent and civil official were included, was created. Cengiz's Dix for religion, despite the secular nature of the state, began to earn a salary from the budget as well as members of Veliahtsky councils for affairs of religion. They are headed by local chief imams. In 2016 in Turkmenistan, the new law about freedom of worship and the religious organizations, in which Cengiz isn't mentioned, came into force, but the Special State Commission on Work with the Religious Organizations and Examination of the Resources containing religious data, publishing and printing products in Turkmenistan, which is allocated a number of powers on supervision of the religious organizations, was created. In particular, this commission confirms the head of the religious organization which center is located abroad to the post. She carries out expertise of all religious literature arriving from abroad. The state rigidly limits religious education. Private teaching religion is prohibited by the law of 2016 completely, and training of children in dogma is authorized only with the consent of the above stated commission. All spiritual educational institutions have to obtain a license, and teachers of religious disciplines are obliged to have special spiritual education and permission of the above stated commission.
Its state doesn't limit a possibility of a Hajj. In 2015, permission to a pilgrimage to Mecca was got under the decree of the president of the country of 188 people.
Following the results of a research of the international charitable Christian organization, Open Doors, for 2015, Turkmenistan takes the 20th place in the list of the countries where most often oppress the rights of Christians. Most of Christians of the country, Orthodox Christians. In Turkmenistan, a number of Protestant churches, Pentecostals. About 1100. Baptists, Lutherans, Adventists, etc. Also works. Since March 2010, the Roman Catholic Center works in the country. The cultural sphere already at Niazov was under control of the state. The new president Padi Muhammadov at the beginning of board continued this policy, having issued in October 2008 the provision on creation at the device the commissions which have to estimate the art level of the corresponding creative works and give permission to their publication, scenic statement, carrying out shootings. State language of Turkmenistan is the Turkmen, relating to a Gusky group of Turkic languages. Besides Turkmenistan, language is widespread also in Iran, Afghanistan, Turkey, Iraq, Karakalpakstan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Stavropol Krai and in the Astrakhan region of Russia. In Turkmenistan, except Turkmen, languages are widespread Russian and, to a lesser extent, English, Uzbek and Belovskaya. In several villages of the Mariski Oasis. An outdated source. The Turkmen carpet, one of handmade most known carpets made by Turkmens. Distinctive feature of the Turkmen carpets are beauty and durability. At the end of the 20th century, rug weaving in Turkmenistan becomes one of important branches of economy. The biggest carpet with a handmade total area of 301 m in the world is distinguished from modern Turkmen carpets, which was weaved in 2001, and in 2003 it is recorded in Guinness Book of Records. The Turkmen cuisine on technology and the range of products is very close to kitchens of other Central Asian people. At the Turkmen, all dishes have own Turkmen names. For example, pilaf is called floors, palmeni, beshbarmak, edograma. The main products of the Turkmen cuisine are meat and bread. The sport in Turkmenistan has ancient roots. Many types of fight traditionally are considered as national sports, however now the most popular sports are the soccer and fight. Soccer, one of the key directions of sports activity in the Republic. The soccer is considered already many decades in Turkmenistan one of the most favorite sports. Turkmenistan gave to the football world many bright names, among which there are representatives of many nationalities: Kurban Berdiev, the Bayram Tertiev, Valery Nepomniachtchi, Vladimir Bayramov, Arslanmarat Amanov, Ruslan Mingazov, Vitaly Kofanov, Dmitry Homukha, Artur Gevorkyan, Vyacheslav Krendeliev, Roland Gusev and others.
Football Federation of Turkmenistan, the organization exercising control of soccer in the country. In 1994 it was accepted in AFI and FIFA. At the first stage of independent development of Turkmenistan, his education system. Initial, average and the highest. Remained on the Soviet sample. However, in 1993 the President Saparmurat Niyazov announced new policy in this area. First of all, she concerned high school, where transition to 9 years education began. During this period at schools of Turkmenistan 860,000 children, in technical schools -71,000 students, and in higher education institutions -40,000 students studied annually.
Secondary education in Turkmenistan is carried out at 3-stage comprehensive schools within 12 years on the following steps. Elementary school, the first cycle of secondary education lasting 3 years. 1. 3 classes. High school, the second cycle of secondary education lasting 5 years. 4. 8 classes. High school, the third cycle of secondary education which is carried out within 4 years. 9. 12 classes. The Turkmen State University of Mektumkuli, the largest higher educational institution of the country. It is formed on July 14, 1950 by reorganization of the Ashgabat Teacher Training College existing since 1931. Now bears a name of the Turkmen poet Mektumkuli. Postgraduate education in Turkmenistan can be got in the National Academy of Sciences restored in 2007.
In 2013, in a postgraduate study, 55 graduates of national higher education institutions will be accepted, 2 more budgetary places will appear in doctoral studies, 42 in a clinical internship, 241 places for applicants of an academic degree of the candidate of science, 9 places for an academic degree of the doctor of science. In 2013, the law about Massachusetts media, which establishes an order of collecting, preparation and dissemination of information in Turkmenistan, came into force and also guarantees to citizens of the country easy access to foreign Massachusetts media, forbids state agencies to censor and render counteraction to work of SME. In 2012 in Turkmenistan there were 39 printing editions. Only 2 newspapers, Turkmenistan and Neutral Turkmenistan, appear 6 times a week. They are the main, at the same time Neutral Turkmenistan, the only newspaper in Russian. There are departmental newspapers, for example, Mugalimla to the newspaper, magazines for school students, Medicine, the magazine of the president. A founder of almost all central newspapers is the President of Turkmenistan.
All periodical press completely pays attention to activity of the President and achievements of Turkmens in various spheres of social and economic and socio-political life of Turkmenistan.
Since October 1996, for individuals and non-governmental organizations, the subscription for foreign newspapers and magazines was forbidden. In 1997, Inveliotz liquidated the Russian editorial offices of local newspapers. Since 2002, import to the country of the Russian press was completely forbidden. In 2008, this ban was withdrawn. There is a compulsory subscription the Turkmen in the place of work on newspapers and magazines. In Turkmenistan there is only one news agency belonging to the state, Turkmendovarlara.
The Union of Journalists of Turkmenistan doesn't play a significant role in the country and has no impact on relationship in journalistic community.
On a constant basis in Turkmenistan, the Turkish newspaper, Zaman, having own edition and independent publishing base, is issued. In Turkmenistan the television functions over 50 years, 7 national channels of radio and cable television work.
Frikopeks Pisaser, Mirez, Yashlik, Turkmenistan, Turkmenovanovaza, Ashgabat Sport.
The main telecasts plots about political and cultural life of the country. Despite the law on media, on television there is a strict censorship. The air is absent. Most of the population of the country uses possibilities of satellite television. Broadcasting also is state
broadcasts 4 radio stations from Ashgabat in Turkmen, and on the content of transfers doesn't differ from television. Broadcasting of Mayak radio station in July 2004 was stopped. The number of Army of Turkmenistan is limited in connection with the neutral status of the country. It isn't numerous, makes 36500 people, takes the 92nd place in the list of the countries on the number of the acting troops. The military appeal passes in Turkmenistan twice a year, from April 1 to June 30. From October 1 to December 31. Military age, from 18 to 27 years. Service life of citizens makes 24 months. The main types of tanks: T-90s, T-72. Fighting vehicles: Baymimi-1/Baymimi-2/Baymimi-3, BIM-1K. Bream-1/Bream-2. The armored personnel carrier, Bream-1/Bream-2. The anti-tank gun, Mount-12. Anti-tank guided missile, Baby. Virk. Competition. Virk. Storm. Virk. Metis. Virk. Z system of volley fire. B-21 Hail, B-21 Hail -1, B-27 Hurricane, B-30 Tornado. Artillery systems. C Nonawit, C of Tak, C Acacia, 122 howitzer of D-30, 152 down howitzer of D-1, 152 down howitzer of D-20, PM-38. After the partition of the Turkestan military district, decorated with the Order of the Red Banner of the USSR between the independent states of Central Asia, the aviation group, largest in Central Asia, deployed on 2 large bases, under the city of Meri and Ashgabat, fell to the share of Turkmenistan. On arms of the Air Force there are about 250 helicopters and planes, various systems.
The Navy of Turkmenistan is subordinated to Command of Border Troops now.
The main fleet base is located in port of the Turkmenbashi, the former Krasnovodsk. In the village of Kalifon Almutaria, the base of a river flotilla is located small.
On June 23, 2008, the international non-governmental organization of Amnesty International issued the report on systematic human rights violations in Turkmenistan. It is specified in the report that the government, which came to the power in December 2006, almost undertook nothing for elimination of the violations which caused concern of Amnesty International and other human rights organizations.
The changes which happened from December 2006 to June 16, 2008 inclusive are noted. However, the systematic human rights violations which took roots in government of the President Niyazov and continuing at the time of drawing up the report are emphasized. In the report, the documentary evidence of non-compliance is provided in Turkmenistan of the following human rights: right to freedom of speech, right to freedom of associations, right to freedom of worship and beliefs, the right for fair trial, especially in the affairs having the political background, the right to freedom from tortures and other types of ill treatment, the right for alternative civil service, for conscious alkachik from military service, The right to freedom of movement and the right to freely choose to itself the residence. The right to freedom from discrimination. State Awards of Turkmenistan. Main article. State Awards of Turkmenistan. The Hero of Turkmenistan, the highest honorary title in Turkmenistan. The medal, called Half Moon, the medal which is given for receiving a rank, the Hero of Turkmenistan. The award, Turkmenbashi, for the special bravery, dedication and courage shown at protection of the fatherland. Award of the President of Turkmenistan of Bitaraplik for a big contribution to a statement and recognition of a constant neutrality of independent Turkmenistan. The award, President's Star, for outstanding merits in protection of the homeland, development of friendship and cooperation between the people. Saparmurat Turkmenbaşı's award grade is handed to the state and public figures and also the highest officials of foreign countries for consolidation of peace in the region. Sites. 3 objects located in the territory of Turkmenistan are included in the UNESCO World Cultural Heritage List. Nis Ancient Mervan Konyagenç. Tutlik Timur's Minaret in Konyagenç. Parthian fortresses of Nisa, Pakistan, Hapkutan, Bakardensky Cave, Thanzer's Mausoleum, Batkisi Reserve, Siantasadexky Reserve, Tugatangsky Reserve, Repetexky Reserve, Amudarya Reserve, Hazaria Reserve, Mausoleum Il Arslana, Porumshak Tekish's Mausoleum, Nazamettin Kubra's Mausoleum, Fortress Nader of the Shah, Mausoleum Tirabakani, Mausoleum to Manya Baba, Underground Lake Kavada, Gas Crater of Darwaz, Mosque Ertugrul Hazi, Mosque of the Turkmenbashi Ruki, Saparmurat Haj Mosque, Gurbangali Haj Mosque, Noriski Veliyetsky Library, Museum of a Carpet, Main Museum of Turkmenistan, State Circus of Turkmenistan, Cultural Entertainment Center LM, National Cultural Center of Turkmenistan, Neutrality Monument, Constitution Monument, Monument of Independence of Turkmenistan, Puppet Theater, Russian Drama Theater, Main Drama Theater, in Astronomy, in honor of Turkmenistani, Asteroid 2584, which was opened on March 23, 1979 by the Soviet astronomer Nikolai Chernik in the Crimean Observatory, is called. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.